Now we're gonna go academic again. You know what I'm saying? We're gonna be like, so, what I found about the kid. Why did I, you know, it's funny, I do that voice, and when I grew up in Oklahoma, I never talked like this. I never talked like this, right? When I was in Oklahoma, I was so afraid in my predominantly white environment to be seen as the Asian guys that we all made fun of who were like immigrants and shit, that I spoke in perfect articulated English. Just like that. In fact, when I order food on the phone, I have a very particular voice. Hello. Hi, yes, may I please have an order of your spring rolls? Yes, as well as your chicken lard? Yes, pad CU, and may I have that with brown rice? Oh, actually, could I have a Coke with that? Oh, thank you. Cash. Thanks. Thank you very much. Goodbye. See that? You wouldn't even know without this. So all this other language came from cultural stuff. But the reason why I talk like this, you know what I mean, right? It's because I got this thing inside me that I only discovered a fucking couple of years ago. Is that so many people expect Asian people to not really know English well, that there's something unconscious about me that wants to learn every kind of English real good. You know, I toned that? Right. I toned that, right? Right?
You had the head bob and everything.
That was like 8.6.
I feel you, I feel you.
You know what I'm saying? Anyway. You know, I can change my body posture to match it, you know what I mean? And I do that, right? It's a very different person. So, what was the next thing? What was the thing?
I had my hand up.
Yeah, you had your hand up.
Oh, I was gonna, but that was really great. I'm glad you brought that up because I've been struggling with writer's block too. But my question, well, something I wanted to talk about was like different styles and like the value we place on certain styles in spoken word. Because in one of the bouts, a certain team they placed first, and we all were like they were amazing, they were incredible, great, and had a lot of energy, but we felt like they weren't lyrically strong, and the way that they presented themselves was really different. But I think the judges valued that over a certain other type of presentation. So it's like I'm wondering like how. I just want to talk about like how we value different styles in spoken word.
Wait, the question is how we value different styles?
Well, you just want to compose a conversation around it? Yeah, it's this thing we call a poet voice.
Yes.
Where like
I hate that.
Yeah, where like people just have like this really just kind of voice that just sounds like you should be a poet. One of my friends on the Baton Rouge team, he's honestly like one of the youngest people on the team, but like he has this voice that's just like really deep, and we call it pawpaw, and just like everything he says is just like, yo, just like, and it just sounds like he about to say some real deep shit. Like he could be like
toilet paper.
He could be like, I want a number 3. Yeah, large with a Coke, and like, like that's just the person he is. And you know, in Louisiana, a lot of people with New Orleans accents, like they tend to score high in a lot of slams. It's just real aesthetic in a sense, like what sounds good, what looks good, what is just what's people's idea of what's good.
And then there's the poet cadence that I don't like.
Oh,
like
Lord
they
have
go
mercy,
up and like,
yes.
Yeah, but you're not sure what the reason is.
Right.
Right, so we're hearing poet voice, we're hearing cadence speed, right? But it's like, you don't know if cadence speed is actually, because that shit is 4 minutes long, they're trying to make it 3:30, right? Or that shit is 2 minutes long, they're trying to make it 3:30.
Right.
Right? That could be a very basic technical reason. And there's all kinds of reasons, but I do want to address this thing about why your team didn't this and that. From gate, we don't control the universe. Plus, our poems are not only to win or lose. Primarily, our poems are to transform our lives, and hopefully in the shit first. Because before we share them, they're supposed to do some shit for us, or we wouldn't fucking write them. I don't sit around writing some poems being like, oh, this is for the children. No way! Never! If it helps, fine, great. But what do I believe? I write about what do I believe? What do I feel? What do I think? What do I want? Who the fuck am I? What the fuck is this world about to me? And then if that should connect, whatever. But then the second part of that is right, you don't get to decide who your shit connects with or on what level. That's what we're talking about from the beginning. Play your own game. Be yourself where you're at, because you never know. And I will say this till the day I die. There will be people in every audience you perform in front of that will never tell you how much you meant with your real work to them. That just happens. And it's not because that you suck or whatever. It's because they're living in a fear place. And they don't feel confident enough to share those things. Or maybe they forgot the details of it, but they do remember the actions that led them down the road that one day became their salvation. Do you know what I'm saying? So it's like, you can't control the universe. So you play your game. You be yourself. You share what you've got. You live in a world with 7 billion people. You think that any one of us in this room has a poem for all of them? Hell no. There's tons of poems. All my poems, right? I bet there are people in your personal life that would hate every single one of them. Without a doubt, every single one. But I bet they are moved by some of yours. I bet they're changed by some of yours. I bet they grow from some of yours. See what I'm saying? So these 5 people with their subjective idea of what is good and bad didn't put you over the top. Good, bad for them, who cares? You were in an audience that really listened, and some of them will be really inspired. And another thing that may be hard on you emotionally is they might not give you credit. Meaning there are some poets that might be inspired by you and capitalize on that inspiration in their own work. So make sure that everything, and this is not a forced thing, but this is something that makes me feel less crazy in my life. I feel like when I share ideas that I know need to be shared with people using them in different manifestations to accomplish the change I want in universe, that I'm less jealous or fucked up feeling about their ability to capitalize on that or not. Does that make sense? Here's an example. Someone takes something I say in this room, writes a poem, suddenly does a Nike commercial. But because of what I've said in this room so far, I don't mind if that idea is in a Nike commercial, because I want those fucking ideas I said today to reach as many fucking people, because those types of ideas cannot... We're talking about systems at the beginning, right? You think I'm going to change a system by myself? Fuck no. I need people to listen to me and create their own ideas of how to transform systems so that everyone gets on the same page that the system needs to be transformed and reinvented. So that's what I'll say on that. And guess what? The other part to that is, you also get to feel emotionally fucked up right now. What I'm telling you now is not for now. It's in the overall eternal. Because you still, at the end of the day, gotta be human. You gotta be frustrated. You gotta be sad. You gotta be anxious. You gotta be confused. If you didn't feel fucked up about that shit, you wouldn't have come in here and said some shit to me, and we wouldn't be talking about this right now. And then it wouldn't become something more when you go home, because if you, knock on wood, have a long life, you'll get confirmation of what I say and you'll experience it. You'll lose things, but win people. It's going to be a crazy feeling. And as you get older, one is going to be worth more than the other. Because winning things will become less valuable the more love and self-love you nurture in your life. Because you will need that hunger less. That hunger will start to die.